What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with the UNSC Pelican. Now, typically, I don't tend to do too many builds that are, or I try and spread them out a little bit more, that are basically already adapted properties kind of thing, like Star Wars, Star Trek. I do probably feature those two a lot, but I try not to do too many just because I like original works and stuff like that. But this was too good to pass up. This just looks like a legit Pelican from the Halo series. There's one mod that's included in this blueprint, or, well, not included, but required, which is the small ship glass mod pack, I believe. Again, check the workshop file for this build and it'll confirm or deny or whatever. But yeah, this is just really spot on. I mean, it looks legitimately like the Pelican does from this from the game series, so I couldn't help but feature it. But yeah, so we've got, I mean, it even has, now the description mentions something about not rotating these rear thrusters, I believe, or unlocking them, because the weight of the engines could pull them down or something to that extent. But it does look like the front ones could still probably be used with the VTOL type situation. We've got some buttons back here. Empty, 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 empty. Okay, so those don't do anything. Here we go. So we have a rear door on the back, which features your loadout area, your personnel carrier section. Now, I will say this part, if I can stop getting snapped around by the stupid mag boots, really am not a fan of those. Good grief. I do think you're probably supposed to be doing this mainly in an atmospheric world, probably, as it doesn't have its own gravity. But this is really, really accurate. Like, scary accurate kind of thing. Now, this does look like it's probably using a hypergrid setup for that, but let's see, we've got the, okay, so those are just visual buttons, they're not actually doing anything, but you've got the main, my Halo's a little bit rusty, I think that's the main flight seat, and this is more of the control, or that's the weapons, and this is the control, I can't remember, but this doorway and everything is just spot on. I mean, it looks awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. This is really cool. Let's see, though. Is there anything else that I wanted to point out? I do like the landing gear section here that are basically clamps for warthogs or other vehicles. You could snap them to that, basically. It doesn't have like a cargo hangar, but again, neither did the one in the series, so it's pretty accurate. But yeah, all the little details and everything, I really expected this to be a modded build, or that the screenshot wasn't representative, like it was from the game or something, and it wasn't actually the real build, but it's just really, really good. We've got, and it does have retractable landing gears, I believe. This one, maybe not so much. But I believe there's two leg ones somewhere right here, I think, are going to be the landing gears. Let's go ahead and take it for a test flight, though. We've got the retraction point there. And I guess we'll find out really quick which one of these is the right seat, because this one doesn't have any controls set up. This one does. Okay. So I forget what the back, that's basically your co-pilot seat, I guess. Alright, so from here, let's see, we have rocket launchers, advanced rotors for the main wings, rear door, landing gear timer block, cargo camera, and landing gear for the cargo area. And you'll notice, like I mentioned before, that it doesn't have any controls for the rear thrusters, and that was handled in the description when it said that they should kind of remain permanently locked, essentially, so there's that. But if we do like that, yeah, it does have the VTOL. That's awesome. Or maybe not necessarily VTOL, it looks like, but the tilt. You can kind of tilt it. Wait, is that the... Oh, that's just a lock, it looks like. That's not actually reversing them. I thought it was reversing them. So maybe that's the one you're not supposed to mess with. I don't know. I'm not really sure. One of them you're not supposed to mess with, so I'm assuming that this one's okay just because it's on the hot bar, so. We have the rear door. Now for the landing gears, the cool part about the landing gears here, I'm not quite sure how it was done, and I'm not really in a good spot with the light to see it, but it's that they're done at an angle. I guess it's a combination of rotors, that they have a rotor in a couple different spots to make it bend. But I love how they bend. That's really cool. Like they end up straight, but then when you extend them, they kind of retract out or extend out, which is cool. So that's your landing gear setup. We have the cargo camera, and then you would have the the cargo bay or cargo hangar type thing, the landing gears, but there's nothing to grab onto them. Now I will say, let's see if I can. I don't think it'll really matter because there's no gravity. There we go. I didn't have to flip over. I was thinking I was in gravity. I'm not. But as for movement, let's check out the movement. So acceleration is really good, especially considering, again, that it's a vanilla, so there's no modded thrusters or anything like that. So that works really, really well. Maneuverability is really spot on. It maneuvers nicely, probably even better than the main ones did in the main series. And it looks like these are set up on some kind of script sequence. And for whatever reason, 3's not working. I get that a lot when I fire these salvo type or sequenced ones. It always says one's not working even though all of them fire, which is really weird, and I don't quite understand that. But yeah, super big fan of this one. Really, really liked it. So yeah, I think that's about all there is to show off on it, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, I promise this was not supposed to be a Halo-centric episode. So there's actually a bit of a change of plan. I was originally going to feature the Babylon 5 Shadow Crab ship, that it was really prominent on the front page of the workshop and it looked really interesting. Could not get the thing to load right. It kept doing this stutter thing and then it just locked up the whole game for me. Might just been me, don't know. So anyways, I went back through the workshop looking for an alternative and I found this one. I thought it was cool. Then I realized it was also based on Halo type architecture and things. So it is what it is. This is an orbital elevator though, which is crazy. So I had to, had to kind of feature it because I've always thought an orbital elevator would be cool. Never quite tried to build one myself and didn't see too many people successfully build them. So we're gonna see. A couple of notes about this build though. It's labeled as a work in progress in that the ship has to be operated manually. It's not an automated elevator. Some of the rooms are also not fully lit from, according to the description. Vehicle traffic only, side... Oh, pedestrians? Oh, the P got cut off. Okay, pedestrians use side lanes. Got it. So yeah, it's based on the orbital elevator you see in ODST, according to the description. So there's that. Passenger boarding this way. I feel like I'm actually in an airport. Like, where am I going? Where do I go? I'm actually not sure. I guess you just go up and over? Maybe? I'm lost. So yeah, it is technically considered a work in progress. So if there's anything that seems kind of empty or off, that's probably why. But overall, looks really good. I really like this architecture here. This is pretty cool. And it's definitely got a really, really cool vibe as far as like, holy crap, this thing goes all the way up to space, you know. Alright, so let's see if we can figure out. So this is the actual, wow, that's really snug. I didn't even notice when I walked over the threshold there. So this, either this or this, one of the two, is the actual connection point. So everything else is what's going to be moving up. Wow, this is a big... I was thinking it was going to be like a little train car or something. This is actually a pretty big vehicle. My only question is, I know it's manual. How do I get in there? We got a doorway over there. Oh! Oh, is that a bridge? Well, now. So maybe we don't want to be a passenger, we want to be a pilot. And this looks like some kind of drop-off helipad type thing, I suppose. So we need to go up there somehow. Oh, I see. Okay. So if you're here, you keep going. It's one of those steep... Ah, there we go. All passengers be ready to board on arrival. Please form an orderly queue. Pfft, nobody's gonna form an orderly line. That's not how lines work. Alright, so if we open this, I'm guessing this is gonna be our bridge. And a very nice bridge. That, oh, look at this. Oh, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. So it's using pistons and just blast door blocks, but it makes the floor itself actually move. That's really slick. I like that. Alright, so now we're on board the main car, so to speak, or whatever it's called. I think it would be called a car. Maybe. I mean, technically it's not a train, so maybe not? Alright, so here we are. Now, what do we got controls-wise? Lower lock, these are the merge blocks, so on and off for the lower and upper locks. Sliding doors, close, sliding door toggle on and off. Lower connectors are off, upper camera, lower camera, vehicle lock. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so we have upper camera, and we have, wait, that's the lower camera? Something tells me that's not correct. Lower and upper. Feel like that might have gotten flip-flopped somehow. Okay. And let's see about the doors. How does that work? Oh. Nope. That doesn't seem to do anything as far as opening or closing. I'm not sure. So this is the actual car area. So they've got wheels surrounding a 1x1 light armor block area, plus the merge blocks at the top. Alright, cool. So we unlock the merge blocks. If I can get the camera to stop freaking out. I believe the landing gears are unlocked, so is it spacebar? Oh, it's W. Uh-oh. I didn't retract that bridge. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, because the button's way over here. Yeah, that didn't work. I was trying to see how you would actually do that, but there's probably supposed to be a control for that. Okay, take two. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna say about this is I am super surprised at how smooth it's moving. This is not like bumpy or clangy or anything like that. I do see some sparks there, but I'm not hearing any of the typical clanging or anything, so I think everything's fine. I hope. The camera's freaking out, though. I'm hoping that's just like special effects, particle effects for the wheels kind of thing. I'm not really sure. I'm not hearing anything get damaged, though, so I think we're okay. But, yeah. So, this is pretty cool. And we'll go ahead and turn our upper merge blocks on, I guess. And then as we approach, it'll work. Now, according to the description, I believe this takes a rough total of 3 minutes. to get from the planet all the way up to the top. So we'll see. But you can already see how much, I mean, this went really far, really fast. And yeah, I think it's really cool. Now, I don't know exactly how all of this was built and structured and whatnot, as far as I'm sure in creative you can just, like, you know, drag a line, but it doesn't, you can see those little ring points where it looks like there's connections set up, so I'm wondering if it was done with blueprints, because there is a limit to how many blocks you can do in one go in creative, so I'm not really sure how all of this got put together. But it's super cool, and it's working really, really well. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're closing in on the top point. We're about 400 meters. I don't know if I should slow down or not. Probably. Oh, we're coming in hot. Oh! Good news! Emerge blocks are locked. Bad news is that was way too fast. Yeah, I might have come in a little hot there. The best part of that, I think, was just my reaction of the, maybe I should slow down. Boom! Alright, so we are up at the, I guess the orbital station. Now, because I kind of wrecked the place, my bad. Well, okay, in my defense, the dampeners were off, so I wasn't sure if I let go of the key, if it would just coast back down, and I didn't want that to happen. So, yeah, there's that. Alright, so here we go. So again, as I said, it is considered work in progress, so some of these areas may be a little empty. But the premise of it is super cool. Super, super cool. And it works really, really well. I mean, barring user error, obviously. So we've got, looks like operations area up here. And I hope I didn't damage any part of the actual station besides the docking ring area, because that wouldn't be cool. But this would actually be really neat, especially in survival. I know this would take a lot to build in survival, obviously, but it would cut down on stuff like hydrogen and things like that for thrusters if you were just wanting to go out into space or transport materials or something. Now, one of the things that's a work, being that this is a work in progress, one of the things that's a planned feature, according to the description, is a way to automate the rail car, because eventually it would be like you load it up and then you just tell it to go up to the station and it would do so, type of thing. So there's that. Oh, is this a... yeah, here we go. I found the actual door to something for once. So the station up here is actually pretty big. We got solar panels up here. This is really cool. We got cargo containers. It looks like small connection points for fighters. This is pretty sweet. I like it. You got a big dock for bigger ships. That is another reason I like something like this, is I don't know. I'm not confident enough in my own abilities to build a ship that I know can make it out of the atmosphere. So if you were to build an area like this, before ever building a big capital ship or something, you could bring all the materials up here and then build it out in space, which would simplify that kind of stuff. Actually, it'd be kind of the way it would really work. Other than stuff like the Apollo rockets like NASA does and things. But I mean, if you had one of those, even in the some fictions like Star Trek and stuff, you have the shipyard out in space kind of thing. So overall, I thought the premise was really cool, especially since it worked really well. That was the big key. Oh, they're rotors. They're using rotors here. I wonder why. It's not like you're gonna spin them or rotate them for anything. But yeah, I thought the premise was really, really neat. That a A lot of these that I've seen were super work in progress and kind of janky. This one ran really, really smooth up until the point that I didn't realize I was that close to the base. But so anyways, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Alrighty, and last but not least, we have a Marathon Class L.T.P Vessal-Mk-I. This was actually a viewer submission, and it's designed as a long-term patrol vessel. I believe that's what it stands for. Not 100% positive on that. And it's basically a light frigate that's designed for both carrying small vessels or docking with them, and as the name implies, long-term patrols, so it's capable of being out in deployment for a while type of thing. So it's also got a what's called a composite hull according to the description, which is, I'm assuming, making use of either blast door or heavy armor in certain areas to better defend it, kind of thing. Would be my theory anyway. So yeah, I like the look of it overall. It was kind of different. It kind of has a bit of a, it almost reminds me a little bit of the what's the name of, I can't remember the name of them, but it's the medical frigates from Star Wars that have that kind of the base area, then a long neck, and then it kind of comes down. It kind of what it reminds me of, just a little bit. But overall, looks really cool. I like it. It's something different. It's not your typical standard design kind of thing. We have a collection point up here at the top. A few solar panels. I'm guessing this is going to end up being the bridge up here. Yep, okay. And we know of a couple of different entrances. That looks like the main, because there's a bunch of these hangar doors everywhere. I did make a note in the description about it could dock with multiple different kinds of ships, like utility, fighters, bombers, etc., depending on what you were wanting to do with them, or kind of what the point was. If you were going on a bombing run kind of thing, you'd want a bunch of bombers, that kind of stuff. So I imagine the hangars are designed to accommodate. So let's go ahead inside, take a peek. We do have gravity. Cool. I've been surprised before about certain ships that actually didn't have their own gravity, and I ended up getting stuck with mag boots, which stinks. So right away we've got a readout screen with the damage readout. I'm not sure what this one's doing. I think that's a bit of an error, probably. It's probably supposed to be another kind of image. I'm not sure what these are. They almost look like artificial trees. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what they're... Maybe? Either that or it's just a modern decorative kind of thing, or a place to put lights. Nope, no lights. Thought maybe they had upward lights going. This is a modless build. The last one was as well. I believe the only one that included a mod this episode was the first one, the Pelican, that had the small ship glass mods. These two, though, I believe are vanilla. So we have a hangar junction here. Up! You almost got me! You almost got me, Glass. Not this time. Aha! I saw you this time. I didn't run into you first. Nothing gets past these eyes except, you know, Glass. So we have manufacturing over here, where we got a cargo container and all of our assemblers. I almost said resemblers. That's an assembler and a refinery put together. We have a couple blast furnaces. Never quite understood the practical reasoning for blast furnaces. I think they smelted like iron or something faster, but I always forget to use them. So we have a medical bay this way. It's fairly straightforward. Come on. Closed door. Thank you. Wow, that was annoying. We've got the reactor over here, or a reactor anyway, and the batteries over here. I believe it was mentioned in the description that there are a few redundant systems in the ship for better survivability. So we have a floor plan, floor plan, floor plan, floor plan. I'm sure those are all for different reasons, but I know not what they are. So this is your CIC as the sign implied. Now, that goes up that way. What goes this way? was trying to make my way towards kind of the nose of the ship to see what was going on in that area. So we've got jump drives, batteries in the blue room. We've got an antenna and an ore detector, I believe. And an airlock to... So I'm guessing this is the... Yep, there's the rocket launchers. Now, why those aren't connected, I don't know. That might have been something that for a Mark II, maybe, or something, where they're going to add more to it. Or pulled one of mine where you started building something and then realized they were already connected and didn't need them. Or they're just for decoration. Not really sure. And am I the only one that's... It's always kind of bugged that you can't get in the conveyor? I mean, your character is big enough. Just a side note, just completely random side note. Alright, so that's the front nose where all the missile turrets are. Or, not missile turrets, but the launchers. Up here... What do we got up here? Looks just like the maintenance area, maybe, for the jump drives and batteries and stuff like that. And I'm guessing this is going to connect somewhere. Crew quarters? Or emergency crew quarters, maybe? I'm guessing this is going to connect somewhere to that walkway we saw earlier. More crew, I think. Right here? Ah, there it is. So that's that stairway that we saw earlier from the CIC. Why do doors thwart me so? Nothing really back here, so maybe a maintenance access point. Looks like more crew quarters. I'm thinking that's what that is. Otherwise, I'm making very bad assessments as to what those 3 rooms are for. Alright, so this is more of the upper area. That goes up again. Wow, there's a lot of interior in this thing. So we've got kind of a secondary CIC, maybe? Looks like. Captain's quarters, perhaps, since they have a readout and they're by themselves? Maybe? Could be wrong. So what goes up this way then? Ooh, we got a window with a view. Nice. This looks like the bridge. If I had to guess. Yep, definitely the bridge. Alright, so... Well, we'll just do things out of order. Let's take her for a test flight. What do we got here? We've got Gatling turrets, missile turrets, rocket launchers, camera for view 4 and 6, apparently, or camera 4 and 6. Emergency jump drive alpha. Jump drive is just a tongue twister, you know? Does anybody else feel that way? I feel that way. Beta, jump drive, hangars 1, starboard and port for, these all say lock. I guess they turn them on and off, maybe? Main jump drive, more turrets and controls. I guess these might be used for something else, not really sure. Got antennas, collectors, landing gears, and we're good. Okay, so from here, can't really control the turrets, but these... So we have the 4 main in the front as your primary attack, other than the turrets. Oh, right. Let's see how she flies. Actually, pretty good. For its size, I'm a little surprised. I would have thought it would have been a bit more sluggish, but acceleration and deceleration are good. The turning is actually surprisingly nimble. And accelerating and decelerating isn't too bad either. Alright, so now that we've checked that out, let's see if we can go back. Let's see if I can find my way back down. Because I believe I went forward and there was another doorway down here that probably leads more to the hangar, engine room, that kind of thing. So that was the medical bay. Well, if nothing else, there's one that goes down over there, but let's check out over here first. This was the one I was thinking of. Main stair access. We got more stuff in the walls. Kind of has that, a bit of that, Greeble type clutter detail look where things are exposed and stuff like that. This looks like it'll probably lead to the hangars. Yep. Yeah, and these are actually pretty roomy. You could fit a fairly large ship through here. Alright, so the door's over here. Wow. There's so many different honestly, for the size on the exterior, I really didn't expect it to have this much of an interior. There's like all these different... Every time you go somewhere, then there's like another access point to go down to another room or something. Okay, and once again, we have one step down, but there's also an area up here. Nope! That's glass. Darn you, glass. You thwart me every time. I think that's glass anyway. Either that or you just can't fit through there. Nope, that's glass. Let's move on. I was doing so good with the glass, too. Yeah, it's definitely glass. Alright, so we have this area, which I'm guessing is the engineering section that it mentioned before on one of the signs we saw. There's a stairway down here, though I'm not really sure what for. We got another doorway. Okay, that's access to the reactor. And this comes back up where we went that way instead of going back down, I think. I think that's where we're at now. This is probably, yep, another reactor access. Now what goes this way? There's so many areas. Oh, it goes down again. Good grief. So many sections. Oh, this goes out to like the main access point. So this is the ground level area to get in from. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. So yeah, with that, we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. As always, there will be a poll at the end of the video for you guys to vote on what you'd like to see reverse engineered for this week. But with that, we're going to wrap things up for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.